Have you ever stopped to think, who am I really? How do you know you're the same person as you were yesterday, or even a year ago? And if everything about you changes, your body, your actions, even your thoughts, does that mean you're no longer the person you were? Today, we're going to explore one of the oldest and most fascinating philosophical questions, the Ship of Theseus Paradox. But what's even more interesting is that we'll look at this paradox through the lens of Christianity. So, my question for you is, can your identity really change? And if it changes, how does God see you through all those changes? Imagine this. There's a ship, the Ship of Theseus. Over time, every single part of the ship, the sails, the wood, the planks, gets replaced. In the end, not a single original part remains. So, is it still the same ship? Now, here's the big question. If you took all the parts that were removed and put them together again, would that set of parts still be the true Ship of Theseus? This is the famous paradox, which raises a profound question about identity and continuity. But today, I want to challenge you. What if this paradox is a reflection of our own lives? What if our identity isn't as fixed as we think? Now, the central question is, can our identity really change? Or, in Christian terms, can we be made new? In the Bible, we read in 2 Corinthians 5 verse 17, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come, the old has gone, the new is here." But does that mean everything about us changes? And if that happens, are we still the same person? Or, just like the Ship of Theseus, do we become something entirely new in God's eyes? Christianity teaches us that when we accept Christ, we undergo a radical transformation. And this transformation isn't just external, it's deep, an inner change that begins in our spirit. The old creation that was lost, broken, and far from God is replaced by a new creation. In a way, we're made new, just like the ship being rebuilt piece by piece. But here's the important part. Even though we change, God still sees us as the same person. Our core identity remains intact. That's why Jesus can say, "I knew you before you were born." God doesn't lose track of who we are, even when everything in our life changes. So while we change outwardly, in our actions, thoughts, and circumstances, God's perspective on us never shifts. We are still His beloved children. But let's be honest, this paradox isn't just philosophical, it's deeply personal. How do we reconcile the idea of change with the unchanging truth of God's love? We've all had moments where we've questioned who we are, or felt like we're not the same person anymore. Maybe you've been through tough times or made choices that took you down a road you never imagined. Does that mean you've lost your true self? The answer is no. Because, in Christ, our identity is secure. Transformation isn't a loss of our true selves, it's a rediscovery of who we were always meant to be. It's like that ship, even though everything is changing, it's still the same ship, with the same destination and purpose. And you might be wondering, how does this apply to my everyday life? How can I maintain my identity when everything around me seems to be shifting? Faith is the key. The closer we draw to Christ, the more we realize that our identity is rooted in Him. This doesn't mean we won't face challenges or changes. In fact, they are inevitable. But as we grow in our relationship with God, we start to see ourselves through His eyes. We begin to view our transformation as something positive, something that is shaping us to be more like Christ. This transformation is a continual process, and with God's help, we can embrace it with confidence. So, how can we practically apply this in our lives? Here are 3 practical steps for you. Remember your foundation. Your identity is not defined by your mistakes or your past. It's defined by God's love and what Christ did for you. Embrace the process of change. Just like the Ship of Theseus, we are always being transformed. Don't expect to have everything under control. God is working in you. Trust in God's unchanging view of you. No matter how much you change, God's love for you remains the same. He sees you as His beloved child, always. If you've ever felt lost in regard to your identity or wondered how change fits into God's plan, I encourage you to reflect on this. You are a new creation in Christ. No matter how much you change, your identity in Him remains firm. Now, I want to hear from you. How have you experienced this transformation? Leave your comment below. I'd love to hear your story. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this, and hit the bell icon to get notified. See you in the next video. You may change, but your identity in Christ remains unshakable. Keep growing, keep transforming, and trust that you are exactly who God created you to be. See you next time.